Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada, not far from Seattle in the United States and Vancouver on the mainland. I hope that all of you are having a super week so far. And I hope you are all ready to learn for some IELTS speaking. Today we are going to be talking about competition. And we will be focusing on speaking part 1. Speaking part 1, it's the first 5-6 minutes of your IELTS speaking interview with the examiner. Of course, it's an oral exam that is done either face-to-face or done through a computer screen with an examiner one-on-one. This lesson, these materials are presented to you by aehelp.com. That's our academic IELTS website, as well as gieltshelp.com. That's our general IELTS website. Welcome Carolina, our chat moderator, Chayani, Masala, Romelia. Nice to see our members in the class ready to learn. I did see a comment earlier by one of our students. I believe it was Preet. Preet said that she has been learning with us for a year and she has published her first book, Half Girl and Half Woman. So check that out, everybody. Let us know where that's available, Preet, and I would love to get a copy of that. It sounds interesting, especially since I have 2 daughters, and it might be a useful book in my family. So let me know. You can send me an email. All right, students, like I say, this class is brought to you by aehelp.com. This is our academic IELTS website here, and you can see this big red button that's just right above my head there. That's what you can click to join our premium IELTS package, which is a one-time payment for lifetime access. You get practice exams, videos, interactive course, an app for your phone. We are an IDP affiliate, British Council partner. I'm a British Council agent, and we're an official IELTS test registration center. So you are in great hands with us. We have been doing IELTS for more than a decade and a half, and we will actually use this website today to interact with our students. I think Yusuf was asking if we will be doing any live speaking, and yes, we will, Yusuf. In these speaking classes, we always do try to connect with our viewers and assess the speaking. So I will be speaking to our students, our viewers today. So get ready for that. For the general IELTS, it's this green background here. The layout looks pretty much the same as the academic, except it's green to make sure that you differentiate general from academic. And again, click that big red button that's just there. We still have this promotion going. It's Target 9, so you can click coupon and then type Target 9, and you'll get a 20% discount from the cost. And again, it's just a one-time payment for lifetime access, so use that code Target 9, and that's a bit of extra help for you to really get going on your IELTS studies. Of course, we have apps. You can download those from your app store, Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help. And you can follow us on Instagram, IELTS_AEHelp and GIELTS Help for even more videos and materials and our schedule for these live classes. Okay, students. So if you have questions, or Preet, if you can tell me more about that book, send me an email. My email is adrian@aehelp.com. Hi, Baljeet. I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking. I'm a little under the weather. I think my older daughter brought home a little unwelcome gift from one of her classmates at school, so I've got a bit of a cold going on. Chayani, if you're having any trouble with the app, let me know. Send me an email and we'll get our text to troubleshoot. Okay. All right. So questions are good. As you can tell, I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at what you are doing. This is an interactive class. The goal here is for you to learn about IELTS speaking, to gain confidence, and to improve your English. So make sure you are using English in the chat. We've got lots of classes coming up this week. We've got speaking part 1 right now. Then tomorrow we'll have task 2 writing for our members. We'll have listening parts 1 and parts 2. Then we'll have more and more speaking on Saturday, and then we'll have a full-on speaking interview using video and audio through Lighthall on the 25th on Sunday. And I will copy this link into the chat. Lighthall is an awesome platform for live learning. It's designed especially for teachers to teach online live. So you can check that out. Yeah, Baljeet, you mentioned that you did your speaking section. That's awesome, and thank you for sharing that experience. I'll probably ask you a little bit more as we get into the class. Everybody, you can check out our YouTube videos that are pre-recorded, sample mock interviews, and here's a good one for you as well in the chat. So lots of materials to help you. Okay, so let's get into IELTS speaking part 1. The IELTS speaking section, it takes about 15 minutes. It's 3 parts, and part 1 takes about, I would say, roughly 5 to 6 minutes. It is introducing yourself and talking about general topics about you. So use I, me, my when you're speaking. Myself, okay? Avoid using you. Okay, so do not use you. Does anybody know why? So this is a very common mistake, and just to give everybody a quick heads up here, and try to avoid it as much as possible in today's lesson. Does anybody know why it's not good to use you in the speaking? So saying words like, oh, you can save money, and you can achieve great goals, and you can get a prize. So why is it not a good idea to use you? Why should you not use you? There are 2 reasons, 2 good reasons, probably more than 2, but 2 good reasons why you shouldn't. Why should you avoid using you in your speaking? What's the reason for that? So Yusuf says it's about us, not about others. It's personal. Yeah. Chayani says you is awkward. You're talking to the examiner. It's strange. Erkin says it's not polite to say you because you're not talking about the examiner. Yeah. So all of those are correct, right? It is because you do not know the examiner, so you cannot talk directly about them, even by accident, okay? It is awkward, it is less polite, yeah. There is another reason, and this is one that a lot of students don't realize. When you start using you, in your speech, it often limits your communication and vocabulary. So when people start to say you when they're talking, it leads to a lot of repetition, limited vocabulary, and limited communication. So that's another really big reason to avoid it. Is that clear, everybody? So it's like as soon as we start to say you, our brain starts to get into this smaller bubble of ideas, and it starts to just repeat the same ideas again and again. Do you get that? So that's another big reason why you want to avoid it, okay? So definitely avoid it. Instead, focus on I, me, my, okay? And focus on giving answers, explanations, and examples, okay? Focus, again, on I, me, my, and giving explanations and examples. How can you focus on giving explanations? So when you give an answer to the examiner about, you know, whatever the question is, then how can you make sure that you're including an example? Or sorry, I should say, how can you make sure that you're including an explanation? Okay, so how can you ensure that you include, and explanations are very important, an explanation with your answer. And remember, explanations are important to show fluency, grammar, okay, and detail. So how can you make sure that you're doing that? Sarah says by giving an example. No, the example's different, Sarah. So an example is an example, an explanation is an explanation. How do we make sure that we include an explanation with our answer? Yeah, so Masala says by using connectives. Yes, exactly. By using connectives, or a better way to say this is by using subordinating conjunctions of cause and effect. So if you Google this, okay, so I'm just gonna say Google because this would be a big sidetrack here to go off on this. But if you go subordinating conjunctions of cause and effect, you're going to discover lots of them, like because, therefore, as a result, consequently. Okay, so since is another one, and there are more. Okay, so just repeat after me: because, therefore, as a result, consequently, since. So as long as you keep these words floating around in your mind, they will help you to think of these cause and effect scenarios. Okay, so cause and effect scenarios. All the time you want those floating around in your head. Okay, all right. So if this is new for you, if you've never heard the term subordinating conjunctions, make sure to Google that term, subordinating conjunctions. It's important to understand what that means, all right? Okay, let's get into this a little bit. So the goal of this lesson is to show you the high band score answers, band score 8 and 9, of course. And you can do it. A lot of you can get at least a half band or 1 band more just by changing your communicative style. So you go to your IELTS exam early, you practice your English, you approach some other candidates and you ask to practice some questions with them. This will help build your confidence, help you get into the right mindset. And then 20 minutes before your speaking interview time, you register. You're using English with all of the staff, even if they're not speaking English. You can even say, hey, aren't we all supposed to speak English here? This is an English exam. Don't be shy. put yourself out there, and then you go and you meet with the examiner, and the examiner will be a person kind of like me. They could be British, they could be Australian, they could be even a non-native speaker who just speaks great English. And then they will say, welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. The exam center is Q7598 in Vancouver. We are conducting the exam at 15 o'clock. This is candidate number 99225781 and examiner number 98641. Now we shall begin. May I see your identification? They will very firstly ask you to show your identification you used to register. So may I see your identification? And you have to show them your identification. In many countries, that's going to be your passport. It's the only ID that is accepted. In some countries, like if you're in Canada, you can use some other types of picture ID, like your driver's license as well. Yusuf says, yes, certainly. Here's my passport that I have used for registration. Please have a look at it. That's very good, Yusuf. That works. Just make sure you're nice and fluent with clear pronunciation. These first few questions, you should just be really confident. You should have a few different ways that you can answer them. They're always the same. So you should be able to show the examiner that you prepared and you're ready to go. So everybody, this is Yosef Kaya here. Just repeat after Yosef. Excuse me. Yes, certainly. Here's my passport that I have used for registration. Please have a look at it. All right. Masala says, yes, gladly. Here is my passport that I have used for registration a couple of weeks ago. Please have a look at my credentials. Okay, just a couple of small corrections there, Masala. We have a look at your credentials. Okay. So again, yes, gladly, here's my passport that I have used for registration a couple of weeks ago. Please have a look at my credentials. Now, students, when you're using English, because you're English learners, even when you're texting and typing, and even if it's just a quick message, use correct punctuation and capitalization. So capitalize those I's, okay? All right, and then they will ask you for your name. Usually while you're holding your passport, they will ask, what is your full name? They're matching your name that you say with the name on your ID. They're checking it off on their piece of paper. They have a piece of paper that says checks candidate ID. Candidate ID matches candidate's verbal spoken name, and then they check those off, okay? So let's see. Just for consistency, Masala says, my first name is Hit and my family name is Mangia. Please just call me Hit for short. I don't think it's short. I mean, if your first name is Hit and you want to be called Hit, then it's not Hit for short. It's just Hit. Please call me Hit. Please just call me Hit. It's not for short. I'll show you how that for short works. For short is only if it's the actual short version of your name. Like if you say something like, this, like my given name is Jonathan and my family name is Smith. Please just call me John for short. Okay, so all right. So my given name is Jonathan and my family name is Smith. Please just call me John for short. That would be short, right? John is short for Jonathan. Okay. If you're being called by your name, like if you say my first name is Sarah, please just call me Sarah, then it's not short. Okay, it's just that. All right, so careful with that. You don't want to make awkward sounding mistakes in the beginning with the information or with English. You want to sound very clean and accurate. Okay, good. So then comes a couple of questions that should be fairly easy to answer, even for someone at the lower intermediate level of English. So sometimes they will ask you a question like this: please introduce yourself in a few words. So when you introduce yourself in a few words, you can talk about where you live, whether you work or study, and maybe your hobby. So that's usually kind of what we mean when the examiner says, please introduce yourself in a few words. So don't panic, don't talk forever, okay? Don't just keep talking until the examiner stops you. That's not a good idea. You have to have a start and a finish, so 2-3 sentences for this type of a introduction, okay? So few words. The examiner isn't saying, please introduce yourself until I stop you. The examiner is saying, please introduce yourself in a few words, okay? All right. So in a few words. So Ikeson says, currently I'm a student, I'm studying at university, and I'm in my 3rd year. Okay, that's an okay start, but that's not considered a complete introduction, okay? And try to be concise. And so, Ikeson, try to combine ideas when they're related. So instead of saying currently I'm a student, I'm studying at university, that is my 3rd year, you can say currently I am a student in my 3rd year. We know that you're studying in my 3rd year at Nur Sultan Sultan University. I'm just guessing that you're in Kazakhstan, but I could be wrong. So you don't need that as my 3rd year. So being concise, students, is good in your communication. It's good in your writing as well. If you can say the same information in a shorter, better way, it's always going to get you higher band scores, okay? So currently I'm a student in my 3rd year at Nur Sultan University. My goal is to finish business school and then continue my master's in the US. And my hobby is cycling on the weekends. Okay? So that would be an introduction in a few words. So when someone asks you to introduce yourself in a few words, it's usually a little bit more than just your work. Okay, so it's your work and your hobby, or it's where you live and your hobby, or it's where you live and your university study. So something like that. So to give the listener, or the stranger in this case, a couple of ideas of what's going on with you. Okay, so it's a combination here. All right, let's see what Shivani has to say for this request. Okay, so Shivani says, not only am I, watch the word order there, Shivani, not only am I studying English Lit, but also I'm working as a marketing manager in an ed tech company called S2M, in an ed tech, education technology company called S2M. English Lit, yeah, it's nice. We will say that often. Lit just means literature. For those of you who don't know English literature. Okay. So not only am I studying English Lit, but I'm also working as a marketing manager in an ed tech company called S2M. Just watch your grammar and accuracy, Shivani, but you're on the right track. So you're telling me what you're studying and what you're doing for work. I'd probably want to know where you're studying English literature, in university, in high school, in college. So where is that happening? Okay. And then if you haven't answered the question yet, the examiner might say, well, and what do you like to do in your free time? So Shivani, in this case, I would continue with that because you did not tell me that. So I would say, and what do you like to do in your free time? And I'll take a part of your answer there, Tramile says, I'm a big fan of reading science books and I try to read it when I have free time to gain much more knowledge. Okay. Now here, you should include an example. So last week, I read a very interesting book on photosynthesis. Ooh, let's impress the examiner with that word. Photosynthesis is the process by which plants convert sunlight into energy. The process by which plants convert sunlight into energy, okay, through their chloroplasts. So photosynthesis, a little bit of botany vocabulary for you out there today. So that would be a good answer, okay, just repeat after me, everybody. I am a big fan of reading science books and I try to read them when I have free time to gain much more knowledge. Last week, I read a very interesting book on photosynthesis. Okay, just repeat those sentences. Repeat the word photosynthesis. Photo, right? Picture. Now you're getting the idea that photo has something to do with light, right? Because cameras, light, picture, photo, synthesis, process, the process of adapting photons into energy. So photosynthesis, okay. All right, it's a kind of an interesting vocab for you. All right, so once you've answered these first few questions, so you've introduced yourself, you showed your ID, then the examiner, in many cases, will introduce some kind of general topic that applies to all of us. Okay, so the first question here, and the examiner will say, okay, let's talk a little bit about competition. Do you like to compete with others? Give me a nice, full sentence for this one. Okay. Do you like to compete with others? Nice, full sentence. Okay. Fuang. I like how you're using what you are learning in the classes. Fuang is connecting her response to a previous response, and I can see that even though I didn't see your previous response. So Fuang says, as I've just mentioned, I'm an ambitious person, so competing with others really helps me to motivate myself both for studying and working hard in life. I love it. That's a nice high band answer. I would give that a band 8. I'll show you how to make that a band 9, Fuang, in just a second. Fuang, you know what I'm missing for a band 9? Just for fun. I mean, you don't have to always have this, but what should I include here, Fuang, to push this to a band 9 level? Okay. So again, Fuang says, as I've mentioned, using present perfect as a contraction here, as I have mentioned, right? So it's a nice use of the present perfect here. As I've just mentioned, I'm an ambitious person, so competing with others really helps me to motivate myself. Really nice explanation, both for studying and working. Nice correlative conjunction. Okay. Yeah, Flong, very good. So Flong says I should throw an example in there, right? So last Monday, I took part in a math competition. And it was a lot of fun. Sure. Yeah, just that kind of smooth example. You don't have to always include the smooth examples, but about 60%. Okay. So include smooth examples 60 to 70% of the time. Okay. Examples really help clarify information. What do I mean by smooth? So when I say smooth example, what does that mean? What I mean by smooth example? What does that mean? Yeah, Amra says don't use for example or for instance. Yeah, so it means do not introduce your example by saying for example or for instance. Instead, just say it. Okay. Okay. So just say it. All right. So no need to say for example. In the IELTS, when you say for example or for instance, the examiners kind of freak out. They think you're going off topic and you're going to talk, because that happens often with students. So they interrupt you and you don't want that. Okay. So smooth example, simply just say it. Like last week, just the other day, I did this. So just say it. You don't need to say for example. If it's a good example, it makes sense. You don't have to connect it by saying for example. Okay, students, so I think you have the right idea now, and I've definitely given you a few tips and strategies to consider when you're answering, to answer in full sentences. So let's kind of hop back to the start here, and I'm going to now reach out to some of our viewers as I usually do, and we're going to do group work. So I'm going to reach out to different viewers, and we will practice speaking part 1, and I will give you tips and corrected answers and vocabulary that you can practice as we do this for real. Okay? All right. So how can you talk with me in this live class? Here is the answer. To volunteer for speaking. Okay? Your first step is go to aehelp.com. Okay, so go to that website. I showed you that, and I will show you again in just a moment. Log into your My Student account or create an account. I will show you that as well. And then click on Student Partner Speaking. You'll see a blue button. It will say Student Partner Speaking, and you will see me in there in a moment. Now, make sure that your microphone is working. Your speakers are working. I strongly suggest testing with another person before you try to connect with me, because it's the internet. The internet's very complex. You want to make sure you have a good connection. You want to make sure that you don't have some kind of a firewall either on your personal device or at the national level. And then you can send me a chat request. Just type, okay, for master. I want to volunteer. Let me show you this. So go to aehelp.com. It's this blue background here. And again, the website is aehelp.com. Okay. Then when you're here, you can get our full premium IELTS package by clicking this blue button. This red button. I'm colorblind. No, I'm not. This red button that's just above my head there, that's how you get the premium IELTS package. It's a good idea. We use this website all the time in the live classes. We use the exams, we use the audio from this, so it's a really good idea to get it. It's like the textbook. It is the textbook for these live classes. Or if you want to just try it for free, you can do that too. Just click that green button, okay? And then once you're there, you go into your My Student account, and in your My Student account, you will see computer-based practice exams. You'll see a full interactive course. You can see practice exams that you can download, study books, lesson videos that you can watch when you're on the go or at home, audio CDs for all the different practice exams and for pronunciation practice. And then here you will see this student partner speaking, okay? So we go to the student partner speaking, and then you have to accept the terms that you are going to be polite, respectful, focusing on IELTS, okay? And then you open up the speaking chat interface where you can find study partners, speaking partners, and you can see that, whoa, we've got so many. That's awesome. So we've got Olivia, Yash, Yusuf, Karanvir, Vivek, Domenico, Alam, Jiwen, Romelia, Karina, Masala, Hyunsuk, Akash, Joaquin, Arish, Baljeet, Akril, Vilayshak, Shub, and Captain all in here, ready to go. Let's reach out to Baljeet because I know Baljeet just did a speaking exam, and I bet all of you would be excited to find out what Baljeet's speaking exam was like. So let's talk to Baljeet a little bit. He's a longtime member, and I know for a fact that he just did an official IELTS speaking exam. So let's see if he is ready. Baljeet, are you ready to share a little bit? Okay. Hopefully we can make a good connection here and discover what just happened last week in the official IELTS. All right.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Baljeet. How are you?
I am good, sir. What about you?
I'm a little bit under the weather, and I'm hoping to kick this cold without getting worse. But otherwise, I'm okay. Thanks for asking.
Okay, sir.
All right. Usually, Baljeet, that's where you should be like, oh, I hope you get better or get some rest.
I wish you would better in just a couple of days.
Thanks, Baljeet. No, I loved your honest response. You're like, all right, sir, let's just move on then. Nobody cares about my health. All right. Baljeet, so you did a practice speaking interview with me last week, and then very shortly thereafter, within 24 hours, you did your official IELTS speaking exam. First question, are you okay to talk about your experience a little bit with me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, sure.
All right.
That's why I'm here. Otherwise, I was like preparing for my writing.
That's very, very kind of you. I'm sure that many of our viewers will appreciate you sharing what just happened in the most recent speaking exam. Can you tell us first the date of your speaking exam that you just had?
Last Monday, sir. Monday, sir.
Oh, it was this Monday. So this Monday was the
19th.
The 19th. What time of the day was your speaking exam?
It was in the evening, 4:40.
At 4:40 in the evening. Who was your examiner?
He was John Joseph, and he was like really old, roughly about 50 years, I can say.
50 is really old, Baljeet? Oh, poor grandpa or grandma who's 70. All right, and was
50 to 60 maybe.
50 to 60. Okay, maybe you're shaving some years. All right, Baljeet, and was he a native speaker of English, or was he also from India?
He was from India, like from South India.
Okay, how was his English?
His English was really good. I can say.
Yeah. So usually
Yeah.
when the examiner is not a native English speaker, let's say, then they still would be considered like a band 9 level for IELTS. So they would still have expert level of English. Okay.
Yeah.
And were you nervous when you went into your speaking exam?
Yes, sir, I was a little. But before going to the examination center, I did some good breathing exercises,
Mm-hmm.
which really helped me to calm myself down.
Good. Did you speak English to any other candidates before you? Oh, first of all, I should ask, was this a face to face or was it through the
Yes, sir,
computer?
it was like face to face, in person.
It was in person. Okay. And were you able to speak with some other candidates while you were waiting for your interview?
Yes, sir, there were, but I talked to Carolina.
Okay, good. Well, Carolina, thank you for that. I'm sure Baljeet really appreciated you speaking with him and practicing a bit of
Yes,
English. Did
yes,
you?
sir, because my
Mhm,
examination center is just like 10 minutes walks from my apartment.
mhm.
So I just talked to Carolina for like half an hour and then I went to the center.
Awesome. And did you find that helpful?
Yes, sir, it was like really helpful. I like did warm up, a really good warm up of English.
Awesome. Okay, and now I'm sure the question that everybody's thinking about is what did they ask you? Now, before you answer that question, Baljeet, I just want to remind everybody that you should never try to guess or expect what will be on your IELTS speaking exam because it's basically impossible. What's most important is that you understand good communication and that you prepare, but you should never try to guess the specific topics. Now, that aside, Baljeet, what were your part one questions about? Do you remember them?
Yes, sir. My part one was first of all, it was about me, like transportation system,
Hmm.
and then the like puzzles or quizzes that I solve or love to do.
And that was all part one. So talking about transportation and then talking about puzzles and
Yes,
quizzes.
transportation, especially about bus. Like how often do I use bus?
Yeah, and I think we had a live class actually not that long ago about talking about cars and buses, right? Like how often do you take a bus? How often?
Yes,
So
yes.
that was probably quite helpful for those questions,
Yeah,
right?
so, yeah, sir. My part one, like I was not hesitant.
Hmm.
I did all the parts. I did answer all the question like in a really good way. I think like I'm pretty much confident about it.
Hmm.
And my part two was about a TV program that I like that I enjoy watching.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and I talked about Big Bang Theory.
Hmm. Is it true?
Uh,
Do you actually watch Big Bang Theory?
yes, sir. I really love this TV program,
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
and I talked about it. I started really fast.
Hmm.
Yeah, like when he gave me like 1 minute to prepare, I wrote jotted down my one first sentence of the mm, part two, and I noted some notes. Then I quickly started with this first sentence by seeing it on the paper, and
Hmm. Hmm.
then I got along with the characters of the program, and I explained the genre of this program. Then I talked about my personal experience. Like yesterday, I was tired with my studies, and then I watched it. It was really refreshing, and
Nice.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Nice, nice. That definitely sounds
And
like
then
you had the right ideas. Yeah, absolutely. Good for you.
at at the end, I said like on a closing note, it is a really good program that I enjoy watching.
Absolutely.
And
So,
th-
so it felt natural, right? Now, okay, so great. So, in connection to this, Did the examiner interrupt you when you were speaking at times, or were you able to have a fairly good back and forth communication without too many interruptions?
Like in part two, I didn't get interrupted. Like
Mm-hmm.
I closed my question answer,
Mm-hmm.
and he moved to the next part.
Mm-hmm.
Like he asked one question like, "Would you like to watch this program in future?" And I said, "Yes, I watch it every day, and I would do that in future too."
Mm-hmm.
And then he moved to the third part of the question, where he didn't give me chance to include my personal example.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like he first asked the question like, people in India, what kind of shows like to watch? It was like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I said like science fiction and youngsters like romantic TV shows. Then like I wanted to say like, as me, I love to watch this Big Bang Theory, and he stopped me there. He said, we are talking about general people, public. And then I moved to
Yeah.
like, yeah.
So the trick there, Baljeet, if you get a kind of examiner that's like really like that, okay, because some examiners, they're like very kind of, you can still kind of be tricky in the future for those students who are doing it. And you can say, many people in India love watching Big Bang Theory, like me. And then there's no way they can interrupt you if you use like me at the very end of your sentence. So because it's
Yes,
impossible to be interrupted. So that's kind of a one of the tricks that you can use to still
yes.
include the
And
connection to part two.
the third part was like rapid fire questions. He didn't even give me time to think about it. Think about the questions. Like, I just in one or two question, he just asked me a question, and then when I started to like say something like, yes, I think, and then he quickly moved to on to the next question.
That's a
Like I
little
was
bit.
like,
That's a little bit weird.
that's
But
good.
did you stay
I thought
confident?
like that's rude.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about the examiner's emotions and whether he's rude or not. Sometimes what happens too, and this is for everybody, okay, is when you're in the exam, like Baljeet was in the exam on Monday, and he's doing a really good job, and I feel that you probably did a very good job answering part one and part two. Oftentimes, the examiners already have an idea of your band level. Like, in all honesty, when I'm speaking to a candidate, by the end of part one, even, I have a very good idea of whether it's a band 7, 8, 9 level student. So, some examiners in the real test situations, they're trying to really keep the time short so they can get through everybody in the day. And it sounds like your examiner, Baljeet, maybe already realized that, okay, Baljeet's a band, 7.5 or band 8. And they didn't really need more information from you. They just wanted to kind of just finish the exam and then give you your band score and move on. So here's my last question, Baljeet. Have you gotten your score yet?
The which, sir?
Your speaking
Like,
score. Do you see it? It should be online already. Have you seen your speaking score yet?
like, or no, sir.
You
I
haven't
didn't
checked
like.
it. Yeah, okay. So you don't know what you got, right?
Yeah, sir. But I my written test is on 24th, and my I am
Oh,
like pen
okay.
and paper based. Yes, sir.
So that's why
So
you don't
it,
have it yet. Yeah. So they won't
yeah,
they won't give you your speaking score until you finish the whole test. Yeah.
yes,
So
sir.
okay.
Like, yeah, sir. And sir, one interesting thing I noted that when I was nervous, like I switched up my first name and given name, like given name and family name.
That can
Like
happen. That's not the end of the world. Don't worry about it.
I said,
Baljeet,
he said, "What is your name?" And I said, "My given name is." I thought, then I said, "My given name is Singh, and my family name is Baljeet." I switched up.
so you mixed it up. So he probably did a double take at your face and at the picture ID. He was making sure that you are you. So he's probably like, "Is this Baljeet? Does that look like the guy in the passport?" All right. Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed, Baljeet, that you get a great score. Thank you so much for sharing your
Yeah,
experience with
sure.
everybody. I appreciate that. So everybody, give Baljeet a thumbs up and maybe a thank you for sharing his experience with the real speaking exam that he just had on Monday. Thank you so much, Baljeet. When you
Thank
have
you,
your
sir.
score, Let me know. Okay, I would love to.
Yes,
I'm
sir. I
very
would love to
curious.
share, sir.
Okay, I look forward to it.
Thank you for your guidance, sir.
Bye, Baljeet.
Okay, sir. Bye.
All right, that was great. So let's hope that he gets a great mark. All right, let's practice some speaking now that you have some more ideas and you've got a little bit of an insight into a recent exam experience. Joaquin. Joaquin says, I'd like to volunteer. Joaquin, are you ready? Let's see if Joaquin is up for the challenge. I think it's a new volunteer. Joaquin, of course, reminds me of Joaquin Phoenix, a very famous actor, or was actor. Joaquin, if you're still here, let me know. Send me a sign. Say yes. And then we can connect. We've got about a 6-second delay, students, in YouTube, so a little bit of patience.
Hello.
Hi, Joaquin.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can. You're a little bit quiet. Sounds like you're a little bit far from the microphone, but I can hear you.
Yes, I am here. I am fine.
All right.
You?
I'm doing good. Joaquin, where are you from?
I am from Mexico. I am from the south of Mexico.
From Mexico. I don't even know if we've
Yes.
had anybody from Mexico yet, so it's great to have you. We've had people from Central America and North America, of course, but that's great. Okay, and Joaquin, why are you doing the IELTS exam?
Well, first, because I am trying to improve my English, and I have uh, the idea to travel to another country and study a career.
Okay, good. Well, let me help you a bit with the speaking section of the IELTS exam. I will ask you some questions. Just give me some nice answers, explanations, and then I will give you some feedback. How does that sound?
Okay.
All right. Welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner. May I see your identification?
Yes, here's my ID that I use for my registration. Please have a look.
What is your full name?
Sorry,
What is your full name?
My given name is Joaquin, and my family name is Castillo. Please just call me by my first name, Joaquin.
Okay, Joaquin, part one, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. Can you please introduce yourself in a few words?
Yes, as I said, my name is Joaquin. I am 24 years old. I live in the south of Mexico. And well, I am working now I am working in a company called Petropalmas that is in the oil and gas industry, and my favorite sport is basketball. So in my free time, I try to practice this sport.
Let's talk about competition. Do you like to compete with others?
Yes, of course. I like to compete with other people because I think I improve my abilities. And just like yesterday, I played a basketball match, and we won with my friends.
How often do you compete?
I think I always compete because the live date is a competition. I compete in my work in the school and also in life. Uh, just like yesterday that I won a prize in a car race.
Okay, we'll stop there for a second. All right, good, Joaquin. Good. All right. So overall, your band score would be about 6 to 6.5. Okay, but I think you can do better. Firstly, you have to improve your fluency, just your speed of talking. Sometimes your speech really slows down at awkward moments, and I have to pause my thinking to wait for your ideas. So band 6 in IELTS is considered fluent user of English. Band 7 is considered good. And you have good English, you have good vocabulary, you have some good ideas. You need to say them more fluently. So just a lot of regular speaking practice. I highly recommend using this website that we're using right now. It's absolutely free to talk to other students. So whenever you have time, just go on the website, see if there's another student. And on the website, Joaquin, I'll show you something here real quick. At the top, there's even questions for you here for IELTS that you can click on. So when you click on one of those, then it'll open up a whole bunch of questions for you that you can practice with the students there. Okay, so do that regularly just to improve your fluency. Okay, because you're losing most of your marks on your fluency for sure. Now, your introduction was good. So you introduced your name, you showed me your passport, and then you said, as I said, my name is Joaquin. I'm 24 years old. I live in the south of Mexico. Can you repeat this word after me? South.
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 It's south.
South. Practice
South.
that. Yeah, practice that TH sound, the th. It's like you're trying to spit your top teeth at me. South. Okay? Of Mexico. Okay. And then you said you work at a company and your favorite sport is basketball. I thought that was great. That was good. Okay. That's why I didn't ask you what you do in your free time, because you answered that. You said you like to play basketball. And then I said, do you like to compete with others? And you said, yes, of course, I like to compete. Makes sense. You just told me you play basketball, right? So I like to compete with others because I improve my abilities. Yesterday, I played basketball much. That was a bit of an awkward sentence. When you're thinking about quantity, like few or sometimes or much or always, think about time, think about numbers, okay, Joaquin? So you can say, yesterday I played basketball for 2 hours or for 3 hours in the evening.
Okay.
And we won with my friends. And then you said, because I improve my abilities. So try to always connect, and this is of course advice for everybody, connect your example with your explanation. And I feel like I improved my jump shot. Okay, see how that relates, that connects to your explanation, and then that makes it so much clearer, and it also shows me more vocabulary. So I'm just going to repeat this answer, Joaquin, and then after I'm done, copy me, okay? And this is for everybody. This is a speaking class, so speak and repeat. So here we go. Do you like to compete with others? Yes, of course. I like to compete with other people because I improve my abilities. Yesterday, I played basketball for 3 hours in the evening, and we won with my friends, and I feel like I improved my jump shot. Do you like to compete with others?
Yes, of course. I like to compete with other people because I improve my abilities. Yesterday, I played basketball for 3 hours in the evening, and we won with my friends, and I feel like I improved my jump shot.
Much better. Okay, so that would be like a band 8, band 9. All right.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. I think my problem is that sometimes I think in Spanish. Well, that is my idiom, and not in English.
Yeah, that happens to all people, but again, once you that comes with practice to let go of that translation, okay? And again, remember numbers. Numbers are your friend. So how often do you participate in a contest? I always compete 5 to 10 times a day. Because life is competition, okay? So keep those numbers in mind, all right? To help you, okay? Joaquin, You've got the right idea. You've got great ambition. I hope that you keep going and practice, 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 and then you will be awesome. You will be more fluent, and you'll get a great score. Come back and volunteer again, okay, Joaquin?
Yes, of course.
All right. Thanks for volunteering and sharing your English with us. Have an awesome rest of the day, Joaquin.
Yes, have a nice day. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye. All right. That was Joaquin. Give Joaquin a thumbs up, students. It's important to support each other. It takes a lot of courage to volunteer in these live classes with so many people watching. Please do not call me, students, okay? That interrupts the flow of the class. I will reach out to you, okay? All right. I think we haven't spoken with Domenico in quite some time, so let's see if Domenico is ready. Are you ready? Okay, Domenico, if you are there, let me know. And thanks for the thumbs up, everybody. That's awesome. Marie, it's good to see you back. I haven't seen you in a long time in the class. I'm sure you've been busy. It's nice to have you in the chat. I see that you just hopped in. All right, Domenico, if you are there, let me know, and then we'll go through some more of these part 1 questions. Again, students, the practice is for everybody, so just because I'm choosing one particular person or volunteer doesn't mean you shouldn't be practicing. So when you hear the answers and the repetition, new words, make sure that you are speaking, copying, saying these sentences and words nice and loud. All right, we've got Domenico La on the line.
Hello.
Hi, Domenico.
Hi, sir. How are you doing?
I am doing great, thank you, Domenico. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. I've been snowed under in the. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah. You're snowed under in your work?
I've been snowed. It's a little late. There is a bit of delay. I can't hear.
That's okay, Domenico. It might catch up in a minute. Make sure you're using the website, not YouTube, to listen, right? But we'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. I've been snowed out in my English assignments to prepare for the IELTS test. Yeah, I've been studying English for a while, for 2 years, about 2 years. And I would like to go into more depth in the language because I can also speak Spanish fluently, so I would like to become a foreign language teacher. I'm genuinely passionate about foreign languages.
Where are you, Domenico? What country are you in?
Well, I'm originally from the south of Italy. I live in Sicily, the Mediterranean's biggest island.
I would love to visit Sicily one day.
Yeah, it's my hometown. I was born in Messina, but I live in a small coastal town which is located slightly west to the city of Messina. So it's within the metropolitan of Messina.
Awesome. I bet it's beautiful.
It's about 30 minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes bus ride.
Okay. All right. Well, Domenico, let's get into a little bit of IELTS and IELTS Part 1 questions here. So we're still talking about competition. Okay. Here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm up for it.
All right. How often do you participate in a contest?
Well, I'm a competitive person by nature, but since I'm no longer a spring chicken, I don't often take part in competitions as often as I would like. However, when I was growing up, I used to be in constant competition with my brother, who is 3 years older, 3 years older than me.
What are your favorite kinds of competitions to watch?
Well, first of all, I'm a big fan of football, and I follow my favorite team, which is AC Milan. Just last Saturday, I watched the Clash of Titans between AC Milan and Naples, and we unfortunately lost the match to them. We lost at home.
Have you ever won a race?
Uh, I've never actually participated in races. I used to play football when I was growing up. Actually, I remember when I was studying in high school, I joined the football local team in my hometown, and I used to jam up support for the local team by asking my friends to come along when we were going to play at home. And I used to be a good footballer, and I enjoyed it
If you could
because
make a
it helped.
competition. Okay, so and I'm interrupting you again, so to stop you from speaking, but that's good. Okay, all right, so good fluency, but you need to finish your ideas. Okay, so
Yeah.
let me give you a bit of feedback. So I would say that you would get so far for the speaking, you would get probably about a 6.5, maybe a 7, depending on your examiner. But I think you should be able to get at least a 7 consistently. You need to change your strategy a little bit. Okay. So
I'm a bit nervous, sir. I'm a bit nervous. It's
that's
the
totally
first
fine.
time I'm volunteering here.
Yeah, Domenico, that's okay. That's the best way to overcome nerves is to just practice and to talk, and that's what you're doing, and that's fantastic. Okay, and by the way, I love your personality. I think you're outgoing. I love how you're really putting 110% effort into your English, and that's the best way to master a language is by giving 110%.
Thank you,
So
sir. Thank you, sir. To tell you the truth, I since I traveled to Mexico in 2008. I fell in love with foreign languages, and I fell in love with Spanish foreign languages. So I've developed a vested interest in foreign languages, and I would like to become a foreign language teacher in the future. I'm actually a marine biologist,
okay.
and I would like to. I would also like to give another bite, a second bite at the cherry, because I'm genuinely passionate about the natural world. I've been uh, advocating the importance of preserving the natural environment, because we are facing one of the most concerning problems, which is climate change, and I try to encourage people to switch towards renewable resources all the time until I'm blue in my face.
Right. Those. Just a second, Joaquin. I think our live stream there got stuck a little bit, but that's okay. So you can combine those. You can combine those ambitions, and it's interesting that you say that because we had Joaquin here just a moment ago, and he is in the south of Mexico, and he's probably happy to hear you say that you visited there. And the Gulf of Mexico,
actually,
of course, is very important.
it should hear me speak Spanish, because my accent actually is from the southern part of Mexico, because I I used to be in contact with people from the Yucatan, the southern part, the
Yeah,
state of
yeah,
Mexico, the
yeah.
southern, yeah, and I don't know, but I I absorbed that accent unconsciously, and whenever I get to speak Spanish, I speak that accent,
That's
which is,
great. That's
yeah,
great. All right,
yeah,
Domenico, let's get back to point here. I want to give you a couple of
yeah,
quick pointers on what you can do to improve
yeah,
your English. So,
yeah,
I said, how often do you participate in a contest? That was my first part one question to you.
Yeah.
And you said, well, I'm a competitive person by nature. That was really good. That was a nice high level response. And then here you said, since I'm no longer a spring chicken. That's an idiom, which means that you're no longer youthful or young, not young or youthful anymore. It's okay to practice these kinds of idioms and new language in these kinds of live classes with me where, you're practicing. But in the real IELTS exam, definitely do not force vocabulary or idioms into your answers because it starts to go off topic and it starts to sound strange. So here, my question is, how often do you participate in a contest? And you said, I'm a competitive person by nature. And then you said, since I'm no longer a spring chicken, I no longer take part in competition. Now here, you got yourself into a trickier situation because we need clarity. So in the IELTS, you always have to have a lot of clarity. And so you need to say, I no longer take part in physical competitions.
Physical activities. For example, prior to the pandemic, I used to take part in powerlifting competition.
Yeah, so Domenico, just a sec, let me finish. So you say, I no longer take part in physical competitions as I would like to. And then finish it by saying maybe just once or twice a year. And then just stop and wait for the next question. So I can tell that you're a very talkative person, just like me. So that's why we clash, because you're talkative, I'm talkative, and that's okay. But in the IELTS
I'm a talkative type of person. I'm a talkative type of person, and less of a taciturn type of person. So I like to talk about the topic
IELTS
for hours
exam,
on end.
Domenico, in the IELTS exam, you have to put an end to the ideas and the sentences, because if you're going off topic and if the examiner keeps on interrupting you, it's going to really bring down your score. So, some people are shy and short-spoken, so they don't talk enough. Some people like you like to chat, and so you're long-spoken. But on the IELTS, whether you are a person who is short-spoken or whether you are a chatty person, on the IELTS exam, it's very important to just stick to answer, explain, example, stop talking, wait for the next question, because that's the trick to get that high score. Then once you've got your IELTS score and once you've got your band 8, band 9, and you're off to another country and you're teaching English or Spanish, then you can talk as much as your heart desires. But in the IELTS, remember to stick to strategy and just answer, explain, example. Okay, Domenico? So practice that, okay? Yeah. All right. Domenico, thank you so much. Sir. Thank you. Have an awesome rest of your day. Bye for now.
Same to you. Same to you. Bye.
Okay, that was Domenico. Sarah says, I'm the false account. We've got a couple of false accounts here, I think. Let's see if Yosef is here. Yosef has been very patient. So are you ready, Yosef? Okay. Yosef, if you're there, let me know. We'll reach out to you and then connect. Okay. Thank you for the thumbs up for Domenico, everybody. Thank you, Carolina. Thank you, Masala. Yosef, let's do this.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I am good. How are you, Yosef?
I'm doing well. It's 9 p.m. and in Kazakhstan. I'm preparing for my sleep after this live class.
Just a quick little English study before sleep, right?
Yeah.
That's great. Maybe you'll dream in English. They say that a good sign that you are starting to master another language is when you start to dream in that other language. Have you ever had a dream in English?
I suppose I don't really see dreams often, but if I see, maybe it's in Turkish usually.
It's in Turkish. Okay. Yeah, I remember you moved to Kazakhstan from Turkey.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me ask you a couple of questions. Still talking about competition. Are you ready?
Yeah, sir, I'm ready.
Okay, what are your favorite kinds of competitions to watch?
Well, I used to enjoy watching soccer, but since then it changed a lot. Since my friends actually loved playing basketball with me. Therefore, I fell keen into that, and I started watching basketball instead. And usually now, my favorite competitions that I watch is basketball matches.
Have you ever won a race?
Yeah, I've been to certain events which took place in Kazakhstan with my friends around 2 years ago, and I believe also that these organizations makes people feel better and create new friendships. We participate in many of these competitions, and both of my friends win a prize.
If you
a
could
bit
make a
amount of-
competition, what would it be?
maybe finding the toy, for example. We will hide the toy and people will find it. Maybe it's a good competition for people who will try to find it first, wins the prize. I believe this will be more entertaining for other people also.
Okay, that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For part 2, I will show you a card with some questions. Don't worry, I will not do that right now. Okay, we're going to just go over your answers. So you're at about a band 6 level with your answers, but I think you can do a lot better, Yusuf. So my first advice is really pay attention to the question and really just answer the question. I'm sure many of our viewers are realizing that oftentimes it's the content. It's really what you're saying. It's not even the English. It's just what you're saying. It was kind of the same advice for Joaquin and for Domenico as well. Here I said, what are your favorite kinds of competitions to watch? R is present tense, right, Yusuf?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And competitions and kinds is plural, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And the action verb is watch, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You said, I used to enjoy. What's the tense?
It's past, right?
Exactly. So right away, you're going off topic because you're telling me about what you used to do instead of what you are doing. I'm asking you what you are doing, right? So in the IELTS exam, for clarity, it's super important that your verb tense, your grammar, your target verb, your plural singular matches with the question, right? So even if you're telling me the truth that you used to watch soccer, but now you're more into basketball, just change it. So for the IELTS, just change your approach. The examiner doesn't know you. They don't know the truth. They don't care about the truth. They just care about really good communication. So I love to watch soccer and basketball. And then reason, because I'm really into team sports, that I also play with my friends. Notice how suddenly now I'm in the right tense, I'm answering the plural, and I'm giving an explanation. And there's just a lot more clarity for that question. Do you see?
Can I ask you some questions about this?
Sure, you can. Yeah.
So I used to watch other YouTube channels about this part 1 tricks and tips, and they used to say me that I should expand my answers in order to gain high level band. So I just said, like, in past tense I used to watch, now I'm more keen to watch basketball instead. So it makes the paragraph more longer, which makes the examiner think bad, right?
Yeah. So it's not accurate, right? So the examiner is their main marking criteria is coherence. So they have like marking criteria that includes fluency, grammatical range, grammatical accuracy, lexical resource, which is vocabulary, pronunciation, and then the one all be all, which is kind of the one that's the most important, is coherence. How much sense do you make? Like, how clear is this? The question that the examiner has in their head, and when they go through their training, the trainers tell them this. If this person, if Yusuf goes to university in Vancouver, if he goes to the University of British Columbia, and he is talking with one of his classmates or with his professors, and his professor asks him this question, what are your favorite kinds of competitions to watch? Does Yusuf make sense, right? according to his vocabulary, according to his grammar, according to his ideas, right? So you have to make sense. So you can expand your answer, but you still need to be on topic with the right grammar and the right vocabulary. And that's very, very important. You notice that this question is present simple, but the later question is, have you ever won a race? That's present perfect. I'm going to test your present perfect. I'm going to test your conditional with other questions. So you don't have to worry about showing me that unnecessarily. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Okay. Whenever you're watching another YouTube channel, and this is for everybody who's watching, okay? Whenever you're watching a YouTube channel and you're getting tips and strategies from that person, from that teacher, that expert, you should always use your logic. Okay, there's a lot of false and bad information out there. You shouldn't just, accept the truth because Adrian said it or because John said it. You should think about it logically. If I'm in a communication or if I'm in a conversation with a person, does this make sense, right? So use your logic, use your academic thinking when you're applying those strategies, right? I don't want people to copy what I say or to use what I say because I'm saying it because I'm Adrian. I want them to say it because these are the rules and standards of quality communication. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
So I saw a video on YouTube in your channel, and that was telling that if we send our voice recording to eehelp@gmail.com, Gmail, and they will respond us with our band score. I did that, and I received my desired band. It was about 8, I think, because there was no pressure, like nobody was watching me. Therefore, I was so calm. But like when I'm in live with you, it's becoming more challenging.
And that's again something that comes with practice, right? So yes, of course, when it's like singing in the shower is what I call it, right? So when we sing in the shower, we love our songs and we sound great, but then when we have to sing in front of 100 people, it's a very different experience. So it comes with practice, Yusuf. And the email, by the way, where you can send it is adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com or speaking@aehelp.com.
Yeah, I'm sending for speaking, and I recently sent it again for different answers.
Okay,
to
that's
improve
good. That's great.
Thank you, sir.
You're very, very welcome. Keep up the good studies, Yusuf. And remember, pay attention to the grammar, pay attention to the tense, okay?
Okay.
All right.
I will be preparing for my IELTS, and it's thanks to you, I hope.
I look forward to seeing you here again, Yusuf. Have an awesome rest of your day.
Goodbye, sir.
Bye for now. Okay, that was Yusuf, and those are some really good questions. All right, everybody. I'm running out of time for now, but I will be back tomorrow with task 2 writing for our members, followed by listening 1 and 2 for our subscribers. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure to join us on our website. So this is gieltshelp.com. You can click that big red button above my head there. We're using these websites for the speaking, for the audio, for the listening. These are the textbooks for these live classes. So definitely sign up. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access. It's not a subscription. We don't believe in charging your credit card every month. We don't think that's fair for something like IELTS. Some people need it for 1 month. Some people need it for 5 months. So you can use it as long as you like. It's a one-time payment. Doesn't cost a lot. Click that big red button and you're good to go. If I didn't answer some of your questions, Yatin, I see that you still have a question. Again, feel free to send me an email, as many of you do, and we will get back to you ASAP. So my email address again is adrian@aehelp.com. And it was lovely to have all of you here and to hear your stories and to hear you answer some questions. I hope that you have some greater clarity on what you need to do for speaking. Always be critical. Just because a teacher says it doesn't mean it's true. So be critical of strategies and tips that you hear and that you learn. I welcome criticism myself. So have an awesome rest of your day, everybody, and I look forward to catching you all tomorrow. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. Much love to all of you wherever you are. Bye for now.